Hey, everybody. This is JLB in the house. Also, I guess my real name, my mama's name she gave me is Lynn Bright. Welcome to HopeNet Studio 2501, Conversations about Mental Health and Wellness podcast. We're so happy that you're listening or you're listening and watching us today. And we're just glad you're here. We want to thank our presenting sponsor, HopeNet, for coming alongside. And HopeNet, they're a great supporter of HopeNet, and they love this too, that the program we're going to do today. And then also just want to thank our generous community partner that's coming alongside of us as well. And on today's episode, we are happy to focus on something really a little special, and it is called Getting Ahead in a Just Getting By World. It's a workshop, and I have two special guests, and I won't pump them up too much. I'm just glad they said yes, that they'd come on and hang out with us to share such an incredible resource and also to share their story. So today in the house, we have Michelle Martin, who is with HopeNet, and she's also our coaching program coordinator. And then along with her is one of her new friends that she met last year through Getting Ahead, and that's Miss Kisha Bell. She is a Getting Ahead graduate, so we just love it that we have Michelle in the house as a coordinator for the workshop and then also as a facilitator. So we're going to ask her even to be speaking from that point of view. We're going to ask all kind of crazy questions just so everybody can really get the story. And Kisha, oh man, y'all, I hope she's trying to hold back her personality, but it's going. She can't help it. She can't help it. Look at her. It's going to come on out on us. So Michelle and Kisha, thank you guys ahead of time just for saying yes to coming in to the studio. And for sometimes it gets a little scary when you get behind the microphone and you get the headphones and all that going on, but we're just going to be fine. And we really think we have a great episode for you to let you know about something that we're pretty passionate about. And I got to thinking about why now? Why in the world would we talk about Getting Ahead, which is written by Phil Duvall, and it's part of AHA process. Also, some of you may know Dr. Ruby Payne. So the way it's described to us is there is a portion for resourced people who have means, people maybe who are business owners or community members that are able to love on the people who are not so resourced. And so that's the Bridges Out of Poverty piece. And so if you look at a coin, and on one side of the coin is Bridges Out of Poverty, and then on the other side is Getting Ahead. Same coin, two different sides. And so we're going to focus on the Getting Ahead portion today. And why are we focusing on that? Where we're sitting at today, and when you're listening to this, whether that's today or 5 years from now or 10 years from now, we still believe that there is a need for our communities to be well. And we at HopeNet, we've made a commitment to say we think Getting Ahead is a piece of the puzzle that will help transform our community and yours, and also transform lives over generations. Somebody should say amen to that right now.
Amen. Amen.
And so why focus on that now is because there are communities that are in desperate need of being well. And it's all of us being well, not just a portion of the city, but it's everyone being well. And we're not saying it's the whole big old answer, but we're saying it is a piece of the answer. So I'm going to start with Michelle, and we're going to say, what if you want the audience to know something about you that I didn't say or whatever, you can do that. And maybe you flesh that out in talking about what in the world is this Getting Ahead workshop that Jolin's going on and on about.
Okay. Well, my experience with it is at HopeNet, it has been offered for several years. And so last year was an opportunity for me to be involved. And I would say it was pretty life-changing. Besides bringing people like Kisha into my life, then just seeing the transformation within the groups that as we took them through the workshop. And, so I think being at HopeNet, I think what brought me to HopeNet was the realization that everybody needs hope at some time, at some place in their life. So whatever community you live in, we all have times we need that. And so that was a big part of my own journey. Is, finding those places that fed into the hope that I needed at different times in my life. So this was just natural for me to fall in love with, this Getting Ahead workshop and the people, that come to it.
Well, I like that you said that it's not just something it's kind of like Johnny come lately. It's like we're coming late to the party kind of, because Getting Ahead has been out there and HopeNet has been doing that, providing that workshop way before you or I ever got there.
Absolutely. Yes. And going into it last year, I was completely unaware of what I was really in for. And I'm committed. I'm committed to it now. I feel like it does really offer change and a pathway for that change to happen. Not just revealing that you need it, but how and what are the tools, what are the areas. And so that's...
I'm sitting here and I'm wondering, I'm trying to get in the seat of the listener and people who are watching us and say, like, what are some of the components before we bring Kisha in, because I know she has a powerful story, but just to say, okay, they're going about getting in. Now, what in the world is it? So workshop, okay, I got that part. But like, what's the structure of that?
It's 16 weeks. And we...
Whoa. How long?
Yes, 16 weeks. And the people that are going to be involved, we call them investigators, because they're investigating poverty.
Wow.
And so they commit to 16 weeks. And they're interviewed, and not everybody that applies is accepted, but the ones that are, and we have 12 to 15 that we begin with, and we have a pretty good
graduation
rate. We do. And so anyway, we come together. I'll just kind of tell you what the evening looks like.
Okay.
We come together about 5:15.
So one time a week or every day? Or
the same day every week for 16
16
weeks. Yes. So we begin when school starts, basically, and we end before Christmas.
Okay.
And if it falls on a week where there's like Halloween or something, then we'll skip that week.
Okay.
But we keep right back up.
Okay.
Right back up
and the thing is, I know for HopeNet, we've done it January through May. I don't know if we've ever done it in the summer. That probably has before we came, but I think our sweet spot is that August through December, which is like a semester. So if people think about it like a semester, so that we would call that a semester for us.
Absolutely. So we get together and we have volunteers, amazing volunteers that bring dinner for everyone. That means the investigators, the facilitators, and the children that come with the parents.
Yeah.
So it's a family event. And we gather together and we eat together. Sometimes we have a guest from the community come in and talk to us about their resource, so that our investigators leave with a community of resources already that they know. They have familiar faces to walk out with. Yeah. So we eat dinner together, and then the children go into childcare, and sometimes we have programs. Yes. Okay. And then the investigators and the co-facilitators go into their workshop room, and we do the lesson for that night. And the facilitators are really just kind of in the back seat. And the investigators lead the evening. They do the reading, they do the researching. You know, it's their time. But when they come in versus the day they leave,
Right.
they have a family. Yeah. As one of our investigators like to say, this is like having church, school, and all together,
Small group, whatever.
Yeah, family, all together. And we love that. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's kind of how the evening goes.
So those are some key components. So there is a meal.
Yes.
There's childcare. We're coming together once a week. And the investigators, because they are providing a service, they are doing work, they are given a $20 gift card every week.
Yes.
Just to help them to like, it's not incentive, it's more of thank you for doing that. Thank you for what we're going to walk away learning through you and from you.
Yes.
So,
and HopeNet has chosen to do it with a Dillon's card because they can buy gasoline there.
which is a grocery store in Kansas.
Yes, sorry. Yes. So it gives them freedom to use it however best suits their needs to be able to keep coming and giving the work that they are doing.
Okay. Good. So I hope that, Kisha is she's checking us out to say, let me make sure they got this covered right, because did they forget something kind of thing? So I'm going to have you just jump in, and I want you to tell us who you are and to talk about your before, your during, and after, and we'll even talk a little bit more like even what you're doing now and what's kind of happened from you experiencing getting ahead. Okay.
So my name is Kisha, Kisha Bell, and when I started getting ahead, I was in a dark place. I had just lost my mom, so I was going through a lot. I was really in a dark place. I was very sad, very depressed, and I was going to go to work with one of my friends. And so I had asked her, like, what do you have to do to get involved with children? I love working with kids. Okay. And so her boss had implied you should do the Getting Ahead program. And so at that time, it hadn't started. And so me just being me, I went and I started looking around for myself, like Googling, what is Getting Ahead? What is Getting Ahead? So I ended up finding a program through HopeNet. And at that point, they were taking applications. So
isn't that funny that would happen?
It was on time. I felt like it was on time, like meant to be. It was meant to be. And so as I'm getting my interview, as Miss Michelle said, you go through an interview process. And so I go through my interview, and they were like, "Okay, we like you. You know." So I fit all the criteria.
Yeah.
That's the word. And so at that moment, I started getting ahead, and so. Again, at that time, you guys, I was going through a dark place because I had just lost my mom. So when I went in here, the Lord literally had told me, do not wear a mask, go in there and be yourself, and just make new friends. And so as Miss Michelle said, it really is when you say 16 weeks, you think, that's too long. That's too long, because that was my mindset. Wait, that is too long. But it goes so fast. And literally, when you come on that day, you're like, I can't wait till the next one.
Okay.
You become family, and we are all different people in different walks of life, but we all have something in common. And so we all just become one in that aspect. And so just getting ahead just all makes us become that powerful small group, but mighty in power, because, again, we all walk in different shoes, but we all have something in common, and we all want to get ahead. So that is... something.
Well, the thing is, I thank you for being honest and transparent about saying, first of all, I was grieving, but I needed something. I wanted to work. I know there was something in my heart that I wanted to do. But then showing up with some people you don't even know.
Yes, ma'am.
First of all, even encountering us, and I know you said we met the criteria, and I don't want to scare anybody because it's not like we're going to check off everything and say, I don't know, analyze you, but more so it's like, are you prepared to do the work? Are you able to get here? Are you able to commit fully, kind of thing?
Yes.
And do you get along with other people? You know, so those are like some of the things that we ask to help you meet the criteria. But the thing is, like, I remember seeing you maybe probably early on coming in the building, kind of creeping, like, yeah, I'm testing put my toe in the water. Yeah, this was good the first night, but okay, let's come back the second night and see if that's going to be okay. But then even eating family style at HopeNet with strangers. But where for you? And I want Michelle to think about this question too, because as her watching as a facilitator, like, when did she begin to see people gelling? And for you, like, when did I start? When did I feel like I'm all in? These are my people, kind of thing. Like, was it week number 52, which is only 16 weeks? But was it which week? I mean, what comes to your mind when you think about that?
I think for me, to be honest, I came in on the second week. But the second week was the first day that I came in, but I came in again with an open heart and to accept people. And because they accepted me and they embraced me, I think that's when I was like, okay, this is going to be funner than what I think. And so at that moment, just having them to welcome me and then introduce ourselves, welcome me, and then talk about the rules. That was just awesome. And then you just knew with the rules that everybody respected each other and that it was going to be fun and everybody had their own opinion about things, which again, 15 different people, 12 different people. So everybody's going to have opinions and everybody's going to have different statements. So, you know, we all had to respect each other. And so for me, to be honest, it was the second week, because I started week 2. So second week I came in, I knew my family was there.
Okay. And the thing is that you can miss a week. We don't encourage that. But the thing is, I know that your facilitator said, but Kisha, we got to catch you up.
Yes, ma'am.
And so you had to make time. You had to make extra time to do that. So that was helpful.
Ma'am.
Now I'm going to go to Michelle and ask her, what did she see, especially for that particular class? And I'm going to come back to you to talk about what were some of the rules.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I think for that class, that was a fun class.
Yes.
We did it actually 2 nights during that time.
particular year.
Yeah, we did Monday night and Tuesday night. And
Pray for us.
Well, it was good. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad it's over. but it was a very special group. We had a lot of single moms in there, and I think one of the stories that kind of encapsulates the true kind of experience is with one of our gals, and you'll probably recognize who this is, but I won't say her name.
We won't
say her name. No,
you know who you are, though.
The first night she came in, she kind of walked by me and kind of gave me the side eye and was like, "I so don't need to be here. I'm only here because my pastor told me I needed to be here." And so then that night when she was walking out, she kind of, again, side-eyed me the other way and said, "I so need to be here. This is right where I need to be.
See you next week."
Yeah. And she was enthusiastic every time she came in after that.
Okay.
So it was a combination of the people because they're all there together. And like what you said, getting ahead is different for every chair that's in that room. You know, what they are particularly working on, the strengths they have, the weak areas that they have, what's going to be meaningful to them. So it's all different, but it's all the same goal for every person. Yeah. So,
and I know we keep talking about, so I want the audience to hear too, this is for men, women, couple, it's like the thing is, and the cool thing, if the husband and wife come together, or say you're an engaged couple or whatever, and you want to come through that, that you each get the $20 because you're both getting paid. And I love that, so it's not like somebody may say, let's go find somebody off the street. No, I'm just messing around. But just so, because like you all, even in your class, you had guys too, and that brings a whole different perspective. So the thing too is I want to hear about the rules. Like if you can share those, like what because it wasn't Michelle and her co-facilitator or co-facilitators, because that was Catherine Lewis on one night and then Kim Hootmer on the other night. But did they come in and say, these are the rules, we got them on the board? I mean, how'd that play out?
So as a class, we collaborated together and we put all of our rules as each one of them spoke them out.
Okay.
So it was respect each other. Okay. Respect each other's opinions. Do not be late. Be on time. One of them was, we had 10 of them. So I'll just.
What about talking? Like take turns talking?
Yes, take turns again, respect each other. We're just in a class setting. So it's just out of respect, So, but that was one of them, just to, again, respect each other.
Did people honor that? I mean,
yes,
they did?
Like we really. I don't know. This was just all new. So our class really came in and everybody would want to be in our class.
And what was our code word for that class? Do you remember?
Our code?
Like when somebody was going off on a tangent, and
I can't remember. Rabbit tail?
Rabbit trails.
Rabbit trails. Yeah. So if somebody was doing too much and going on and on or talking, we would say rabbit trails, and they knew, okay, bring it back together.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, another awesome thing we had was called a parking lot. Okay. So if we had a good subject, but we didn't have a lot of time, we would put it in our parking lot and we would come back and we would talk about that. Okay. So that was really, really awesome too. So that nothing would be left out.
Okay.
And no one would be left out.
Right. Now, I got to tell you, the other groups, code word, though. I love it. I love it. Yeah. It was, these people were tell it straight people. So their code word, when somebody got off on a tangent was guillotine. It was like, cut it off. So we're like, okay, all right, that's to the point.
So that's really great group formation and just having some structure, some rules. And how long did the evening last? I mean, you start dinner at 5:15 or so, and then when did you end?
So we got there at 5:15. Okay. We went to eat at 5:30. We said a prayer before we ate together as a group to bless the food and just to bless all of our getting ahead.
Your participation and stuff.
The participants. Yeah. And so after that, we would eat for that 30 minutes, and class started at 6. From 6 to 8, we were in class doing classwork. Well, not class. We were in
workshop.
Yeah.
Workshop. That's it. That's the word. Yeah. Workshop.
And that's the thing is, I love the model because it's about the facilitation, like Michelle said. So the thing is, now she said this on tape, okay? And into our listeners' ears that, that we kind of just take a back seat as facilitator. Did you sense that? I mean, what was it like to have your facilitators in there and then everybody else talking? Because what guided the work?
We did. We did our work. We're the investigators. So just going home, reading your book, and coming back with the work that you want to put in with your information. So we guided, but the facilitators were awesome. We had 2 awesome facilitators.
And we did not pay her to say that right now.
No, she did not. So we did have 2 awesome facilitators. And when they needed to speak up, they spoke up at that point in time. So, but we did the work.
Okay. And for people who are watching us video wise, Michelle has a copy of the workbook that Kisha is talking about. So each investigator has their own book that they own. They get to take it. So she can be Vanna White. And the thing I love too is that this was an English speaking class, but also I'm holding up the Spanish version of the Getting Ahead workbook for the investigator. So know that wherever you are in your community, and we're here in Wichita, Kansas, is that Getting Ahead is offered in English and Spanish. You'll have to figure out or call where is it being offered in the community. So, and we'll give you information about HopeNet, and we'll try to guide you there, because Kisha's doing some cool stuff now too, and we'll let her provide some information about her here and now. Talk a little bit about what were some of the things, like if I opened up the workbook, like what are some things that were covered? Like what am I going to be looking like? I go home the first night and say, man, this book is pretty thick, but what are we going to be talking about for 16 weeks? Like I'm looking at the table of contents. So what are some of the things that you got to talk about? And I'll do this with you, Kisha, too, is which ones were most impactful? Which weeks were really impactful for you?
For me, all of the weeks were very impactful.
Okay.
If you be honest with yourself, and with this, it makes you come into reality with you. With your finances, with your walk, where you are in life. Okay. It just really makes you, because a lot of times I think we just take different things to try to cover up what we really go through in life. Okay. But this right here makes you really sit down, talks about your bills, it talks about your finances, it talks about your home, okay. It talks about just your life as a child, your childhood life, some of the things that you went through in childhood, talks about just a lot of different aspects in life. Bridges coming out of poverty. What is poverty? What poverty looks like to you? And again, each one of us have walked different paths. So our poverty is not going to be the same. Okay. So what might be a struggle for me might be something that you can help me, a strength for you, and vice versa. That's good. So it makes you do a self-assessment. And when you do that self-assessment.
And nobody gets to see it, right?
Right. Nobody gets to see it but you.
Okay.
And it just makes you look at, this is really my life.
At this point in time in history, this is me.
This is me. And guess what? It's either going to make us or break us. In our life, it's a getting ahead. So we want to be real when we take the assessment. If you feel like it's a low, put a low. But guess what? With that low, you can always go up high. Ooh. So yes.
Go up. There's no lower to go.
That's no lower to go.
High. And the thing is, I think when we say the word investigating poverty, that maybe what comes immediately is money, maybe. And I always hear it's more than about money. It's about how we think, how we choose to live, maybe our history, like our upbringing, that type of thing, and how that kind of impacts my here and now and may have me finding myself in poverty.
Yes.
But there's a way out.
It's a way out.
There's a way out. Okay, so Michelle, did you want to say something? Because she's doing that look thing at me. Okay.
No, my mind is just spinning with all the different things that we did learn, because it's useful for anybody to know.
Say that a second time.
It is useful for anyone to know. I learned a lot being in the class and listening to the material, listening to the participants, the investigators. They educated me. Okay, good. Okay, Kisha, I'm going to pick on you again and have you come back to the mic. What was going on inside of you midway? And what was going on maybe in your family? And was your dark place getting darker, or was there some light being shed?
Midway, light was beginning to come.
Okay.
And I believe that's because I was beginning to trust the process.
Ooh.
And when you begin to trust the process, then it opens up doors for you. It opened up doors for you. So just trusting the process. Light began to come. Doors began to open. And my family began to get better. So, yeah.
I like, I'm writing down these two words, open doors. Like doors began to open up for me. Like what kind of doors for you?
For me, well, remember I'm in a dark place. So, just getting back, I'm a spiritual person, so I go to church. So, I think when you lose a mother or just someone close to you in general, you just begin to doubt and you begin to wonder why and was it too soon and things of that nature. But just going through this process and the hidden rules and the theory of change and just knowing some of the things that these are some of the assessments that we went through and just knowing that things are changing, but they're changing for the better in that aspect. So even though I have darkness and I'm sad, I'm still getting the light too.
Okay.
Because I'm accepting the process. I'm trusting the process of God, you don't make no mistakes. So even when you take things or you add things, you give things, you take things away, you still don't make no mistakes. So just accepting that and allowing myself to just grow through the pain, grieve, cry, midway.
Giving yourself permission to cry?
Yes.
Okay.
Giving myself permission to feel. Giving myself permission to accept that it's okay to grieve.
Right. Okay.
And so, yes, ma'am.
You know, that was really, I think it took courage. Maybe even Michelle can speak into that and what she saw in you as you were walking through that, because this thing is like the recent loss, this pain, this dark place, but I found enough courage to show up every week. And so where did you find that?
God, it was nothing but the Lord, to be honest. It was nothing. It was me wanting to do better for myself, but my strength literally, because sometimes it was days where I was like, I'm just not going to do it. And then we had Michelle, our facilitators, asked us a question one time. No matter what, can you, in the rain or the snow, will you press your way? And my response was, you know what? I will, no matter what. We don't want nobody to be left behind. So we will carpool to have our classmates all come together, all be here in class together. So that itself, I'm a woman of my word. So guess what? I said it, I put it out there. So now I have to be...
Yeah. Your word is your bond.
My word is my bond. So every day, once a week for 16 weeks, I press.
And then when it was over, what were you like, no?
You know what? It went so fast. Literally, we were all like, oh, Lord, 16 weeks. Oh, this is going to be long. And we just dread it. But let me tell you, for anyone that comes to this program or comes to getting ahead, number one, it's going to be fun. Number two, you're going to love it. It's life-changing. Number three, everybody becomes family. Number four, it goes so fast. It literally goes so fast. Literally, we were like, in our book, we were just like, wow. And we're here and we're like, we did all of this in 16 weeks. And so literally it goes so fast, but you will enjoy it.
And what I saw in you, and I don't know that you were completely aware of it, but as you were going through it and more light came in and you were going through the grieving process, and you're probably still going through it to some degree, but the change I saw was that you had chosen such a positive way to honor your mother.
Wow.
That willingness to trust the process, the willingness to make changes and investigate where you are. I mean, because when you get ahead, when you move forward, you take the whole family. You know, you influence all of them. So you honored her well.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Sometimes we don't see it because we're just grieving, and other people see it in us.
Yep.
So thank you for that. And that wasn't paid either.
No money's happening today. Here. Okay.
Thank you so much.
What was the impact on your family and maybe even your friends that are watching you go through this? I mean, like when you said I'm committed on, were you Monday night or Tuesday night?
I was Monday.
Okay, so on Monday night, like you like, there's nothing getting in the way of Monday night at 5:00, whatever. What were you hearing or experiencing from those who were in your outer circle that weren't in the class? And what has been the impact on your family and maybe even you personally, professionally?
Well, growth for me, number one. My children, I believe that they seen growth. I live with my son. So I was telling my son about the program and, just letting him know this might be something that you could be interested in, even as a young man. It's not of any age, I think maybe 18 and older.
So we're recruiting right now.
So, yes. But don't think that this right here, that you're too young for getting ahead. No one is too young for the knowledge of getting ahead. So I did a lot of that. A lot of people seen the growth, and a lot of people is asking to experience what we have. So
I know that I think one night I happened to be staying late. Tell my husband don't listen to me on that. But I usually try to make sure I could see you guys at least sometimes at the beginning of class. But I remember you saying something like there was change in your work or something. There was things that were unexpected that happened.
Doors
to
open.
You.
So yes, ma'am. So in my job, I was asked to become after graduation. I was asked to become a facilitator to facilitate one of the classes. So that door had opened. The door had opened for me to make special keychains in honor of my mom.
Tell about those keychains, girl.
So those are self-defense keychains in honor of my mom. Her last words were, "Take care of my grandchildren." And so just for taking care of her grandchildren, with the world today, we just need protection. And so on the keychain, we have in honor of her, just like pepper spray. We have
We're honoring you, Mama. We got some pepper spray.
So you have so it's like 9 different things on there, but it's like a bottle holder, pepper spray. You have the metal knife.
Yes.
You have the seatbelt cutter, and then it's a glass cutter with the seatbelt cutter together. And then it's like a whistle on there.
Okay.
And so it's just like a couple of different things on there just for protection of children and protection of adults just walking late and, running, jogging, just in honor of Mama.
I remember the night you showed that to me, and I'm thinking, no, she's not done with the class or anything like that, but she, in the midst of taking the class, you're like, I'm taking on something new. And my employer sees some value in me and wants to honor that. So that was before graduation, that people were already recognizing that you had great worth and you could bring some value to their company. And so who do you work for?
Right now, I work for Children's First.
And we want to shout out to Children First.
Shout out to Children's First.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kathleen. Yes. Yes.
And we thank them for even allowing you to spend some time with us. We're trying to claim you as our Getting Ahead graduate. And the thing is, just like Michelle is a champion now for getting ahead in our community, I think every last one of you that were in that class and on Tuesday night, that you are new champions for the process and for the life change that can come about. Michelle, can you talk a little bit about what are some basic outcomes that have happened over time through getting ahead? Because I want people to know that there's things that really do happen for people, and what are some things that maybe we've seen?
Okay. So we have seen it just in our classes. Some of the things that we've seen is we've seen people pursue new jobs and have them come
And
to
get them.
fruition.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so their income increased, their stability increased. A lot is affected, by that.
Do you think that's because they learned something new, or maybe that they were giving some new messages about you can ask or you can pursue something?
Yes, I believe that their confidence grew, but I also think that they were given new tools.
Okay.
New insights, new skills, and tools to know how to communicate in a way that their employer will hear them more effectively. And I think to be able to communicate what they have to offer.
Okay.
And each one of them has a lot to offer. And, so
They may have discovered that in that 16 weeks and hearing it probably every week, like you matter, you have a lot to offer. Maybe I'm putting words in your mouth, but okay.
It's hard for us when we are kind of down and out, or we've lost a little hope, or we're in a dark place, to see our full potential. But as that hope starts building and as they become knowledgeable that, anyone that's in poverty deals with these things. But as they see that there's a way out of it, there's a different way of thinking and processing those things, then they start seeing more of who they really are. Because we talk about the tyranny of the moment, or the tyranny of the urgent. And that's how a lot of them operate every day, is just getting through that day.
And it may be somebody who's listening right now too, like, okay, the tyranny of the moment. I'm always in crisis mode, and maybe I don't think I'm in poverty, but I'm operating. Sometimes I think people can have a poverty mindset, and maybe that's one of the outcomes, that people learn to think differently.
Well, and that's one of the things that we've said is you don't have to have an especially low income to be in poverty, and to have that poverty mindset. So it is a different way of thinking, a different way of going through your day, of kind of organizing your life.
Any other outcomes like?
Well, yeah. I mean, here's some that are. We went to Muskogee, Oklahoma, and because when we did our facilitating training. Then one of the gals that helps with that is from Muskogee, Oklahoma, Treasure McKenzie.
Yes, hi Treasure.
Yeah. And so in there, I was really inspired when we went down there and found what had happened in their community. And I think we see that in our community too. But their voting increased. That 47% of them had registered to vote. 97 felt like the class was helpful. 40 people had gotten their GED. 49 people had purchased a home. 22 people had gotten a college degree, and that's out of 225 graduates. Those are big numbers. That's big changes.
Yeah.
64% improved their housing.
Yeah.
So I think this is interesting. Their hope scale from 1 to 10. 4 was the average level of hope for somebody beginning the class. 9 was the average level of hope after the class. And we did a survey after our class too, and I think that those numbers would be reflected in that too.
Yeah, that's really great. So just thinking about that. And before we end, I want to talk about graduation, because there is always a reason to celebrate after someone has sat through or walked through 16 weeks, and I think it's important to make graduation a big deal. And so I'm gonna start with you, Kisha. Like, what did that mean to you? And I'm gonna get Michelle to look at the camera because she's like a doting mom, like looking at Keisha's on the for those of you who can't see her, but she's like, I can't wait to hear what Keisha's gonna say about graduation.
I wish we would have told you to bring what you wrote for graduation.
I was actually going to do that. I probably got it in my phone too. So graduation was very, very amazing for me. Number one, in my dark place, I accomplished a great goal, and I got ahead a lot. So that was amazing for me. Not only did I finish the course, I was running to win, and so I graduated. We got they provided childcare. Mm-hmm. We got amazing food. We were with family and friends.
Yeah.
Because you got to invite a loved one on top of your children coming. So that was amazing. And then just hearing what our facilitators felt about each one of us. And another thing that I love in our class, each one of us had to write something about each other, not knowing who it was that said it. And so it's like everybody kind of knew. They were like, well, we knew this one were you because you just, you just like to encourage people. So we knew that one was you. But in this special box was a note from each one of our classmates, and they encouraged us, and they said something fun to us about just being in the class and about the process and finish after the process, what will we do? And with our class is still friends. Our class, we still text each other. We still encourage each other. We laugh with each other. We cry with each other, because literally we're telling each other happy birthday on there. It's when I say our text message in our class, our group message is just awesome. It is just awesome. So for me, they showed love. HopeNet showed love throughout this whole process, and it was amazing.
And I do want to shout out to Chicken and Pickle, who is a company here in town that just embraces nonprofits, and they care about the community, and we do a mental health thing with them every year. But I want to shout out to them too, and they were more than willing to host our graduation there. This was the first time ever that we took it into the community, the graduation. So whoever's listening, and you're thinking about this, make it a big deal. Bring along some other partners that may want to participate and that type of thing. Michelle, what was it like to plan it and to not know what they were going to say that night?
Well, it was so fun to plan it because I love a party. And I think that I really believed that the work that they had done deserved to be celebrated.
Yeah.
They deserve to be celebrated. And, I think any progress we make, big or little, when we celebrate it, it motivates us for the next step. So it was a wild night in the best sense of the word. And we had no idea what people were going to say.
The investigators that got to come to the mic.
They were the ones they were the show.
Yeah.
And we had raps going on. Keisha's was like, whoa, it was like the wildest church service you'd ever been in. And it was a lot of hoop and hollering and praising and shouting and it was just a really sincere and encouraging celebration. It was a party.
That's interesting that we're documenting the moment as I'm sitting here right now. I'm like, we are documenting the moment of what happened. And I told them at Chicken and Pickle, I said, this room with the green couches will never be the same. Because the Getting Ahead graduates have been in the house and they have spoken. So it was really great to see how people were impacted. And then that night, how it impacted the people in the audience, even the people that you guys got to bring, to come and support you. And just a lot of great connections happened that night. And I think it was a really big beginning for us in our community because people became aware of what in the world is this Getting Ahead. And if it has that result, like, we need to hear more about that. And so we're on a journey, and you're part of that too, to say, now I'm going to be a facilitator of Getting Ahead at Children First. I want to do that. I mean, just... That's the way it's supposed to work. So then, our investigators can become then facilitators and lead their own class, or be those people who are sitting back and helping people to have conversations about poverty. Yeah. So, man, have we forgotten anything? Have we run out of time? Or
I think the one thing what happened that night at graduation too was the people that came from our community.
Yeah.
And we really want to invite them to come to our graduation and just see what's going on and how it is impacting our city and our community, our neighborhoods, as well as the individuals. So I think there was good in that, and that everybody, all of our investigators got to meet those people.
Yeah.
And know them from that point on.
I want to end with you telling about the graduation gift that we gave to the graduates. Kisha's smiling.
I got to use mine for the first time at a graduation. My nephew's graduation. So, that was amazing.
So what was the whole thing behind that, Michelle?
Well, when we were going through the workshop, one of the things we talked about was having a seat at the table, because with the skills that they're given, they are equipped to sit at the table within the community, to be part of the change process within our community. Yeah. But they also get to decide who has a seat at their table. What resources do they need? What connections do they need that will enable them to continue moving ahead? Yeah. So for graduation, we gave them a stadium seat because it's portable. They can can put it up to invite somebody at their table, but they can also take that seat and go have a seat at someone else's table or some community event or a committee that's within the community. Wherever it is that they are invited to go, they are equipped to go. Right. So we gave them a seat at the table.
And they did not know that they love that. But you took it to a graduation. I'm
graduation.
I'm hanging out here. I'm here. Look. I'm showing up for you in my seat, right?
It was a red seat, so I knew that I was hot and special, and it was comfortable. So, yes.
Cool. That's so neat. That's so neat.
And I thought about you, Michelle, when I said it. I was like, oh, she loves us.
I do. I do.
So, yes.
Kisha, maybe I'm going to end with you. Is there anything that you want to say, or that if you could say one last final word to those who are listening to us, what would that be?
I would give it a chance. Trust the process. Getting ahead is really, really awesome. And as they say, it takes a village to raise a child. It's going to take a village for getting that ahead. So you could be the start of the process. So come and join us.
Yay. I love that. And we do have a vision. We have a vision for how in the world could we deliver this in multiple zip codes, especially in our area, for the next 10 years, and then watch to see what impact it has on our communities, on families, on individuals. I mean, just think about a kid that's 10 years old right now, 10 years from now, because you made some choices. What does that mean for that child's life? How does it change the trajectory for a generation?
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, don't let me get started on that, okay? Because I'm cutting up. But Children's First, can you give us a contact? Is there a website? Children's First, that is one place that you can reach out to. And then also HopeNet, always 316-684-4673. You can reach us, or www.hopenetwichita.org. And for Getting Ahead curriculum, to check that out more, AHA process. So it's AHA process. And you can Google them too to find out all the things that they offer, even beyond Getting Ahead. So we want to put that out there. And once again, we are just so pleased that Michelle and Miss Kisha were in the house to spend time with us to talk about Getting Ahead. I think we could have gone on forever, and talk even more and more. Now, some of your folks are going to be saying, I want to get on there. But we want to thank once again our presenting sponsor, Hoydell. Thank you for coming alongside, for believing in not just HopeNet, but the people that we get to serve. You're serving with us. And then our generous community partner that's joined us too, coming alongside. And we just want to say thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us. Please share this with whoever you think this may be beneficial for or to. Once again, this is Jolyn Bright, JLB in the house, signing out. And of course, I'm going to say this to you. Bless you.
Thanks for listening to Studio 2501, conversations about mental health and wellness. Studio 2501 is hosted by Jolyn Bright. Jolyn is HopeNet's Director of Community Impact, a published author, and has been a licensed clinical therapist for over 20 years. This podcast is owned and operated by HopeNet in Wichita, Kansas. HopeNet is a faith-based nonprofit providing a wide range of mental health and wellness services, including counseling, life coaching, and trainings. For more information on HopeNet and to learn how you can help expand our mission, visit hopenetwichita.org and follow us on social media at HopeNet Wichita. Thank you.